This year, an unusually warm winter out west hit onion farmers hard. 800 million pounds of onion crops were destroyed in Malheur County, Oregon alone. Onion grower and Y1 farm owner Corey Maag joins us now to share his experience. Thank you for being here with us. This is a huge onion-producing state in Oregon. I wasn't aware of that, and you dealt with the warmth throughout the winter. Tell us about how all of this went down over the cold season, and how much crop have you lost?
The weather, a lot of our crop is marketed clear from July, clear till, well, almost year-round, basically. But the main marketing season is from August to April. And a lot of those onions are put in storage and harvested back in September and October. And those storages are controlled by the atmospheric temperatures. And we try to keep the onions at a constant temperature. And with the warm temperatures, we had a hard time maintaining that in some of the storages that didn't have refrigeration. And that crop didn't store as long as we would have liked it to.
So the onions themselves, it's a very resilient crop when we're talking about them growing, but they have to be stored, as you said. And with the volume, with the amount of onions being produced in a state like Oregon, the whole region was dealing with this. I would imagine that that's far too much volume to keep all of that refrigerated.
Well, yeah, there's only a certain percentage of the storages that are refrigeration, and the ones that didn't have that, in December and January, when we're getting 50-degree days, it's hard to keep your onions at 37, 38 degrees. Right. And so typically, if we can't add new colder air to those storages, that crop will just kind of warm up, and we kind of call it, it loses its legs to store. The tenure of its storability gets shortened up. And just like if you leave an onion on the kitchen table, I mean, eventually it's going to start throwing a sprout thinking it's supposed to grow again.
Right.
So.
Right. You're a fourth-generation onion grower. Your family, I'm sure, has seen a lot of variability in the seasons. Have you seen one like this before?
We've had some different type of winters, not one quite as warm as this. I mean, typically, sometimes the winter, if we don't get a typical winter, it'll be more because of a lack of moisture. But this one was a lack of moisture and warmth, and it was the kind of the first time we've seen something this warm. So.
Yeah, and this represented a massive loss for farmers across the state, and I know growers did ask for some support from the state's Department of Agriculture. Do you have an update on that? And that's a hardship for farmers. Do we expect to see prices at the grocery store rise as a result?
Well, there's a couple factors there. This crop, we had a pretty bountiful crop last year. So we had a pretty good supply, and so that's some of the reason why we've had some extra onions to market, and the price has been depressed some because of that. As far as the grocery price, the onion market actually has came up in the last couple of weeks some, but and that it was mainly due to a weather event in another region. As far as the State Department, what our change was there, when we go to dispose these onions that didn't store very well in storage, we have certain limitations of what we can do to get rid of them. And we went to the state and asked to change one rule to where they altered the amount we could apply per acre to dispose of them, just because it was going to take too many acres to get rid of. Well, wow. We didn't have a ready supply of acres to get rid of the onions, and they've agreed to do that, and that's going to help us get rid of them and dispose of them properly, because there's some ramifications. If you don't get rid of them properly, you could have an onion maggot issue the following year where flies lay their eggs into the residue and stuff, and it could affect the crop the following year by killing some of the seedling onions that come up. So, so that was what we asked of the State Department. So.
Yeah, that sounds like a really important thing to follow. Obviously, you don't want, after what was a rough winter season, to compound and make this a multi-year issue. That's the owner of Y1 Farms, Corey Maag. Thanks so much for updating us here on Fox Weather.
Thank you.